Blimey, that soundtrack gets annoying, doesn't it? Anyway, Zadra at Energylandia is one of the most hyped up roller coasters ever. Well, not really. It's hyped up quite a lot. So I thought I would do this video to discuss whether it's overrated or not. Just like I did with Taron, I'm going to do it with this. And I might make it a series doing rides that are hyped up. So eventually when I go out to ride them, I'll come back and do a video like this. So, of course, Zadra is located at Energylandia. I took the trip out there. I very much enjoyed my time. Energylandia is a way better park than I thought it would be. Theming, the food, all of it. I was very excited to get on Hyperion and also Zadra. I will do one for Hyperion if this video gets 25.2 likes. I will do one for Hyperion. But we're talking about Zadra, so let's get on with it. So Zadra is located at the back of the park. It's a huge structure. You can still see it from the front. It's 206 foot tall. It's an RMC. It's the first one I've done. I was very excited. And it's a heck of a walk to the back of the park. So once you get there, you enter a land called Smozzy Grog or whatever it's called. And it's very nicely themed, that area. Much better than what I thought it would be. Energylandia is quite well themed as well. It's not to the standard of PortVentura or, Phantasialand, but it's way better than what I thought. And then you go round the corner and you see the Zadra entrance and you enter the queue line. Now the queue line has been said by many people to be the longest queue line ever, and I can see why. Now it's not as long as I thought in a way, but it's still very long. I don't really know what I was expecting, like 7 miles of walking, but it will take you 5 to 10 minutes to walk the whole thing, not 15 to 20. You get great views of the coaster before you make your way to the lockers where you put everything in the locker, like bags and that. To be honest, I don't find that system too bad. It only costs like £1 or £2 really when you convert it. So it's not too bad considering it's the whole day. Yes, I would like it to be free. And it is a bit confusing and some of them don't work. Whatever. It's okay. You then head up the stairs to the boarding area. I have to say, I do kind of like this system. Yes, it's not the best system. And it's certainly a bit weird. But it does have its benefits. And yes, at first it's confusing, but I thought it's okay. First ride I got was a back row, so there you go. I did get a front row as well, and second row back and a mid train. But to be honest, anywhere you sit is okay. But I recommend the back. I think back's the best. So once you board your train, the lap bars will be pulled down. That sounds like an over-the-shoulder train. It's not. Just a couple of things though. Energylandia like to run things on one train, which I don't like. Although the operations there are really fast, running on one train is not the best. For instance, for the front row, it took probably 40 minutes on one train, and that was just in the dispatch area bit, like the bit after the lockers, and that took ages, so yeah, not the best. And it's not just Zadra, it's loads of the rides. And also, the restraints. Everywhere around Energylandia, they like to staple you. It's not too much of a problem, but it is a bit annoying for airtime, and it is a bit uncomfortable. I could live with it okay. So once you dispatch, you go round a corner, which on the back row you do kind of get whipped out the station. Then you go up the lift hill, where you have very nice views of Poland. It's very noisy, but yeah, stunning views. If you look behind you, you get the park. Then you get to the top of the lift hill, and this is where the madness begins. On the back row, you whip down that first drop. The first drop is incredible, rivaling Shambhala's first drop for me. It just, the way it does it, it's just insane. And the back row, loads of airtime, and it's incredible. And then you go through the structure, then into like a small bunny hop, which like goes to the right, but there's no banking. And then you go up the turnaround section, which is very intense. Only really later in the day when it's warmed up, but still, it's an intense section, probably more so on the front row. And then coming out of that, loads of airtime off that turnaround section, loads of it. Even though you are stapled, I still got it. I don't know how, but yeah. So that first section is really intense and is great starts to the ride. And then you go down and then into what most people say is the highlight of the ride, the Zero G stall. I can see why. It's incredible. Flipping upside down, looking around, just unbelievable. I don't know whether it's the favourite part for me, but definitely one of the best. And then you go down into like a wave turn thing, or whatever it's called, which is very violent, just like the rest of the ride. I haven't actually mentioned, but every transition is taken so fast. It's very whippy and it's aggressive, but the ride is so smooth throughout. It's one of the smoothest coasters you'll ever ride. So you do get a bit of airtime on this like wave turn, but for me it's just like how whippy it is. It's incredible. And then you bank down to the left and then to the right, go into a big airtime hill, which people say doesn't deliver, you know, ejector airtime. It's more floater. I disagree. It's ejector, especially when it's warmed up. And then you fall back down into a 0G roll or an underflip. I would call it 0G roll really, but it's a bit different. That's really good because it's through the structure. Loads of head choppers, just like the rest of the ride, to be honest. Then you go into a few airtime hills, like a double down, delivers loads of airtime. And then you go into what is one of the most aggressive transitions in the world. This thing flies, it's intense, and you're whipped out your seat. This like S hill is just madness. And then you go up into the final inversion, another 0G roll before going into the brakes. That final inversion's pretty good. Again, taken at ferocious speed. And then you hit the brakes. The brakes are very strong. I think I know why, because of what happened on Steel Vengeance, but not the best ending, but I'd rather slow down, considering you are going like so fast. The pacing on this thing is, it's one of the best paced roller coasters I've done. It probably is, actually. So that ends your ride on Zadra. Zadra is an incredible ride. It's one of the best coasters to look at. It's stunning. Oh, it's an unbelievable coaster. So as you can probably tell, do I think it's overrated? No, I don't. Zadra is definitely not overrated. It met my expectations, probably exceeded them. And I can't decide whether it's my number one over Taron or not. I didn't get a front row on Taron, which was probably a mistake. But I've got to go back anyway for Fly. But yeah, the speed on Zadra. I actually got hit by a fly on the front row, but or like a bug. It was insane. And it just makes me excited to go out and ride like Iron Gwazi if I get there, because that thing is meant to be way better and I can see why. So that probably would be my number one, including like Velocicoaster and Steel Vengeance. But yeah, it's incredible. Zadra, it's an incredible ride. More airtime than people say, I think, especially later on in the day. It's got everything. It's just, yeah, it's just insane. So thank you very much for watching. Remember, 25.2 likes and I'll do a Hyperion overrated thing. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.